Hello everyone, TestTube here with the top 5 reasons I think you should play Battlerite. In the background is a gameplay of the hero Jade, the gunslinger. Alright, number 1. No mana. The reason I think no mana is a good feature is because it allows a lot of room for outplays later on in the match, and you don't have to worry about conserving mana. You only have to worry about your cooldowns and how you use them. So everything in this game is skill shot, so it still takes skill to use them and all that, but you can never run out of mana and worry about not being able to use an ability later on in the match. Thanks to no mana, the developers can choose to buff or nerf an ability based on the power of that ability alone. They don't have to worry about how many times a person can use it, because you can use it as many times as you want. So having it always available once it's off cooldown allows them to choose how much power the ability has overall. In other games, it's really confusing to have different mechanics, and I guess it's kind of interesting, but in games like League of Legends, you have characters that have huge cooldowns and mana pools. You have characters with low cooldowns and no mana pools. And you have characters that use like energy and things like that. Same in World of Warcraft, but I felt like it was never balanced particularly well, and certain characters benefited way too much from not having mana pools. And then it became such a problem later on in World of Warcraft that they got rid of mana pools altogether, in the sense that they still existed, but you could never in a million years go through the mana that you had. I don't know why they did that, but it was a weird thing they did a couple patches ago. But anyway, the point is they've chose to do away with it altogether in this game, and I really appreciate that, because it's an even playing field for all the different characters. Speaking of characters, that brings me to number 2. All the heroes are nice and varied in the game. They all feel unique to a certain extent. Healers feel useful and strong, but they're not overpowered. Tanks, same thing. They can soak up a lot of damage, they can reflect damage, they can ignore damage, but they're not overbearing or anything like that. And then you have the ranged champions, the damage dealers. They're kind of glass cannon-y. Some of them are a little too slippery. I know Paloma, she gets a lot of crap because her kit is overloaded. I think Shifu's kit is overloaded. Paloma, I'm not going to go into balance of the game because it's still in early access, and they're going to probably constantly be keeping an eye on everyone's power levels. But anyway, for the most part, every character in the game feels unique and useful, and you can use them to varying degrees of success in the 2v2 or 3v3 variety. But the point is that nobody is left completely in the dust. Everyone feels nice and useful, and it's really, really pleasant to try out all the different characters and learn their unique niches and things like that. There are some catch-alls, like Jade, is one of the easier characters to play, and she is very safe and very, very good at dealing damage, range and all that. And she has a lot of escapes and silence and all that good stuff. But anyway, the game is still in its infancy. I'm sure people are going to figure out who is the best and all that stuff later on down the road, but for right now, everyone is doing work with a lot of different characters. And here I meant to push F. If I would have pushed F and used my ult instead of pushing R to use the knockback, I probably would have killed one of those, because they were just both right side by side. Anyway, let's go on to the next one, number 3. Okay, so this is my favorite point on the list, and it's health pools deteriorate over the course of a battle by 50-point increments. So the way this works is, if you take 50 points of damage, you cannot heal up to max health anymore. It'll eat, I forget how much, but it'll eat probably like 10 points of your overall health. And so then you can only be healed up 40 points of health. And you do that all the way down to like I don't know, 20 or whatever. But the orbs spread out throughout the map, those will heal you past your new threshold of health. So if you had 200 health and you get an orb, you can have 210 again, or whatever. You can't go above your maximum health that you start out with, but you can go back to your max health if you collect enough orbs. So healers are very much kept in... They're very strong, but they're kept at bay, because you can't just heal someone forever if someone is dealing tons and tons of damage into a target. So like in World of Warcraft, you can dump millions of damage into one of the 3 opponents, and as long as there's a healer dumping millions of healing into them, their health bar will never move. So really appreciate that change. It's very clever. I would have never thought of that, but I'm glad to see it implemented in a game so well. Alright, that leads us to number 4 on the list, which is match length is nearly perfect. So a match is 2 minutes long, and that's a timer that winds down until you hit overtime and sudden death or whatever. And what that means is the map around you will shrink down. It doesn't really shrink, but there's an outline, and if you're outside the outline you take massive damage and it'll kill you eventually. But anyway, and it shrinks down to the size of that orb in the middle. It shrinks down to the size of that until both of you are pretty much side by side, and you have to duke it out. So you are on a time limit every single match, and it keeps characters that are very mobile and very runaway-y from being abused. So you have to fight. On top of that is most of the orbs are located in the center of the map, and the orbs grant you your special abilities. So if you get the center orb, it's 25 energy and some amount of healing, I think 20. And if there's multiple targets on the field, so like if you and your two's partner are both alive, you will both get those benefits. If there's one person left on the map, it will be 50 energy, which is really huge. So keeping people off the center of the stage is really important, because if they are not taking a lot of damage but they're mispositioned, then you can still take control of the orbs in the middle of the map, and that means true healing and stuff like that, so you don't have to worry about your health pools getting too low. And then on top of that is the energy, which you can use your special abilities. So a really nice mechanic that keeps the game located in the center for all the action to take place, and then if a match draws out too long, you can't abuse someone's mobility too long. You have to go to the center. Alright, watching this replay makes me so sad. There were so many moments I could have killed either one of them, and I missed my skill shots, like right here. There were so many times where I could have finished either one of them off. That's why I love this game, though. You have to be on point every time you use an ability. It's really fun. Alright, back to the list. Number 5, the game design in general. So I really love all the different choices as far as the game design. Like the energy, the EX abilities, the cooldowns, they're all very well thought out. This is a huge one for me. The CC in this game, crowd control in case you don't know, is very impactful. So every time you use a silence, it's very important what timing you use to do that, and it's very important what it does to the other character. So in all these games, there's usually sap and all this stuff. World of Warcraft, you can CC opponents and stuff like that. In League of Legends, I never felt like the CC was very useful. Like, of course it's useful, but the idea is like it wasn't impactful. You didn't feel like you were shaping a fight so much with, one spell. It was definitely your ultimates and things like that. And also the summoner spells completely negate good play. So like if you were a bad player and you did something that got you out of position, you get stunned, Flash is always there to save the day. You just flash out and then you're good to go. World of Warcraft, there's trinkets. So if you misplay and you're in a bad position, you have to CC somebody and then they'll use their trinket, which completely cuts off whatever it is you use to get them CC'd. Very frustrating. And you have to do it multiple times. Oh, do I get this? Do I get this? 2 of them. Got him. Anyway, so that's what I love about this, is that the CC, it's not too spammy in this game, but most of the CC that you put out, if you do land it, will probably last the entire time, like a stun or the incapacitates. Incapacitates break on damage, so it's just another skill element. Like you have to, oh that was so sad. Anyway, you have to make sure that you're timing your abilities, and you have to make sure that you don't break them, or your friends or your opponents don't break the CC for you. So anyway, this is that mechanic where this arena starts to shrink. It keeps her from kiting me too much, and I had way too much health, so she couldn't come back on me. But anyway, alright guys, that's it for this commentary. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one.